Hello all and welcome back to another model railway video. Now today I'm going to be taking a look at a locomotive from Bachmann Branchline. This particular engine, in my opinion, is a very elegant steam engine that Bachmann have produced. It's been available in other liveries, but this particular livery makes the locomotive look absolutely stunning. Here is the engine. It is Bachmann's C-Class, and this example is in the SE&CR green. And I tell you what, this locomotive, when you look at it running, when you look at it just sitting in the yard, it's just a real nice engine to look at. The livery, the lining, all the paintwork in this model, absolutely stunning. I'm going to take a closer look at this shortly, but yeah, it's one to look forward to having a look at, I tell you. It's such a nice engine. Now I'll talk a little bit about the price of it. Unfortunately, couldn't find the RRP, is because these are no longer on Bachmann's website, couldn't find them. But in New Zealand, these locomotives, they were not cheap at all. Originally, I had to hold off buying it originally, is because it was so expensive. They were being retailed roughly for about $530, which was extremely expensive for such a small engine. But eventually the prices dropped on these, and I was able to pick this one up for around about, I think it was $370, somewhere around there, which still expensive, but better than the original price, so I was pretty happy to get it for that. And there weren't many around, so I was quite lucky to get it brand new. So, today we'll take a close look at this stunning locomotive, and then I'll give it a run on the layout and show you how it runs. Right, here we go, let's get into having a look at this beautiful steam engine. Right, well let's take a close look at this engine, and I don't really know where to start with this. The detail is just absolutely phenomenal. As you can see, the SE&CR livery, it just looks so good on this loco. I'll start off with the loco side on first and then work my way along. I'm probably not going to have a chance to cover everything on this because there's literally so much detail. So, as you can see, there is the SE&CR number plate on the side. It is number 583, so that's the number of this C-Class engine. And as you can see, it is finished really nicely. The print looks really good. Nice gold and red mix there. It looks really good with the yellow bit of lining around the edge. That looks really, really cool. I'm just going to simply sum this up in one go, but the lining on this is absolutely incredible. The boiler bands, cab lining, the running board lining, the wheels, the steps, the frames, even the little sandbox underneath has this terrific lining going around with different shades of green, red, yellow, black. It looks absolutely fantastic. The livery is just so good on this model, looks absolutely fantastic. So there's all sorts going on there with the lining. So I'll take a close look at the wheels for a moment. As you can see, there is several different colours going on. You've got the red for the main lines on the spokes. The inside of the spokes is green. Then on the centre, you've got more lining going around where the axles pop through. My goodness, it just looks so cool. You've also got fine detailed parts around where the wheels are. You've got the fine little sander rods that come down the wheels, and they have been positioned quite well. They're not close to the wheel that's going to cause a problem, so that's very good to see. And you've also got your brake blocks there, which are in red, looks really, really good. You've also got other fine components like your steps on the side there with nice lining. They look really good. Good metal connecting rods. You've got these at the front. I'm not sure what the name of them is, but I'm pretty sure it's for protecting the wheels of stuff in front of it. I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure what those are called. If you do know, let me know in the comments, because I've forgotten. And yeah, on the boiler work, the boiler bands, as I mentioned, they look absolutely fantastic with several different colours there. You've got yellow, green, red and black all mixed into there. It's hard to tell them apart because of the lighting here, but my goodness, they look absolutely brilliant. You've also got the nicely done dome and safety valve arrangement. Not really a true brass colour, but they're still very good. It's got a bit of a yellow tinge to it, but I'm not complaining. It looks very, very nice. And yeah, a bit of red on the safety valve as well. And then you've got the little whistle on the top of the cab, and I'm pretty sure that is actual brass. That does look a bit more realistic in terms of its colour. And yeah, nice chimney and smoke box. You've got some other fine detail components on the front. You can see there's a bit of pipe work there, and a little valve coming out of the smoke box. And yeah, nice handrails as well, painted with this nice silver paint. They look really good. I'm not sure if they're metal or not. They look metal. Yeah, it could be metal. I'm not 100% sure there. But they look really nice nevertheless. They look really, really good. And you've got some nice rivet detailing around the front of the smoke box as well. Even the arches that go over the wheels, the covers, they've got lining on them as well. My goodness, it just looks so good. Very, very nice model this is. And yeah, of course, on the cab as well, more handrails. You've got nice lining going around. Different colours there. Looks very, very nice indeed. So I'll move to the front of the locomotive now. As you can see, the front of the locomotive looks absolutely brilliant, especially because of the silver work that has been done on the smoke box. The smoke box dart and the hinges there have got silver paint on them, and that looks really cool. It's nice to see these components stand out. A lot of standard locomotives, you see them and there's no paintwork at all on the front of the smoke box, and you can't really tell those components apart, whereas with this model you certainly can. You can see them quite clearly because of the silver paint. It looks really good. Nice handrails continuing around to the front. There's a little lamp bracket up the top there with a nice chimney on the top. And then you've got a very well detailed buffer beam with sprung buffers. I'll just do it gently. Yeah, you've got sprung buffers there. And a nice buffer beam indeed with the nice yellow and red. And then you've got the number 583 on the front, and that's been nicely printed. Looks very good. With a screw link coupling there, you've got some hoses and more lamp brackets. So yeah, that looks really, really good. One thing I nearly missed altogether is the screw link coupling. It doesn't just sit on that hook at the front, it actually does come off the hook. So as you can see there, it is loose and it does drape down. So that's one thing I forgot to point out. I just remembered it. Move on to the other side now. As you can see, the detail is very much the same on the side. It is very, very nice detail. The wheels, the boiler bands, the lining looks very good. There are a few small differences. You've got a few rods and pipes going along the side of the locomotive there, and it looks really good. And the one noticeable thing which I can see right on the side is you've got a little pump. So that would be for pumping water into the boiler, and it's generally driven by steam. So that is what that is on the side there. It looks really nice, been picked out in different colours. You've got a bit of green, a bit of gold, a bit of black there. Looks very, very nice. And besides a few extra pipes, the other side of the loco is very much the same as the first side that I looked at. Now this is the part that I like, is because this is a really cool little cabin there, and it's good because you can actually see all the detail if you take the tender back. So as you can see, the cab looks absolutely fantastic. I'm not doing it much justice because the light in here is not that great, but as you can see, you've got the separately picked out parts. You can see clearly the firebox handles, the regulator, the water glasses, the different gauges and levers in there. It looks absolutely phenomenal. It's a really well detailed cab, and it's great since it's so open. You can really appreciate all of that detail. It looks very, very good. And I'll show you the back of the tender while we're at it. You can see in there's some more lining, the handbrake there, some different levers. Looks really, really good. And you've got a little, what do you call it? Footplate going across from the loco to tender. It's mounted on the tender. But yeah, that looks really nice. We'll have a look at the tender. Now, one thing I'm going to show you before I have a look at the detail of the tender, you do have a drawbar underneath here. This is a bit of a concerning design, is because it's not actually fastened together. The engine end is fastened in place, but the tender actually is just sitting with a pin going through that bar, and due to those wires going through there, it's a little bit dodgy in terms of lifting it on and off the track and in and out of the box. If you do lift it like that, make sure not to put any unnecessary tension on the wires. In fact, it might even be a good idea, if it's easy to do, to take that plug out when moving the loco around, because if you move it too suddenly and pull and put tension on those wires, goodness knows what's going to happen. I've had in the past wires pop out of these little sockets here just because of too much tension on them. But the interesting part of it is, on the tender, you may be able to see it, the light's not the best, it's actually got a sliding piece that goes in and out, so it does have a bit of pivot, but the problem is the wires actually rub against the wheels, which I don't think's the best thing is because it may eventually, if it's ran for ages and ages like that, it may actually wear through the wire, and then you never know, you might have metal on metal there, and goodness knows what will happen. But that's just one thing that I can see from the design that I'm not the most pleased with, but at the same time it's not the worst mechanism for a drawbar that I've seen. The main thing is just handle it with care, which most people of course do anyway with their models. So as you can see, I'll have a quick look at those anyway. You've got some nice metal wheels on the back. They look really good on the tender. They're not painted, but they still look very, very nice with the spokes. And then, of course, the side of the tender itself. My goodness, the SE&CR looks fantastic printed on the side there, with the incredible lining continuing on the tender. Just look at it. It looks absolutely fantastic. It's even on the axle box covers. You've got it on the springs, the frames surrounding the springs. It's just everywhere. It's so well done. It just makes this locomotive look absolutely stunning even more. Even on the little door on the side there, the little flap on the side, more lining, just looks so, so good. And you've got a small handrail on the back there. I'll move to the rear of the locomotive, and again you've got another brilliant number plate there, the SE&CR number plate, number 583. If you read it up close, it actually says what the SE&CR stands for. I haven't actually had a close look yet and read what SE&CR stands for, so I'm going to have a look at it after this video and then I'll know what it is. So yeah, that is on the actual plate, and very fine writing. I haven't had a close look at it yet. But yeah, around the plate you've got more incredible detail, more lining, lovely handrails, you've got more lamp brackets, you've got the buffers again. You don't have the 583 number printed on the buffer beam itself, instead it's on a plate on the tender, but that looks still very, very nice. And then of course you've got your typical Bachmann coupling at the rear. And then there's also a couple little steps leading up to the tender as well. So yeah, very well detailed. And before, as I mentioned, sprung buffers. Very good. I'll gently turn it over. I'm actually going to put it down because I'm too worried about lifting it on the wrong angle with this drawbar. And the other side of the tender is pretty much exactly the same as well. Very well detailed, excellent lining. Looks stunning. And then a quick view of the top of the model. As you can see, you've got some nice rivet detail on the top of the cab. There's even a little bit on top of the boiler there. I can see a few little rivets just by the safety valves there. I think those are rivets. Yeah, little bits of rivet detail there. And yeah, on the top of the smoke box you can see a little bit there. And of course a really nice looking coal load on the tender. It looks quite realistic, looks good. And the little water filler cap there. So that is one heck of a loco there. My goodness, the detail, the livery is what makes it. I've seen other versions of this in the Southern or British Rail colours, and those colours do not do this model justice. This livery here is just absolutely fantastic, and I'm so glad I was able to get hold of one of these. I waited for about, I think it was 3 years before I actually got hold of it after seeing it. I saw it in shops online and had a look at different photos of it, and I thought I really want to get it, but no, the price was too much at the time. So I'm very happy to finally have this model. But yeah, very well detailed. It's very good as a performer on the layout as well, which you're about to see. So I will now move the locomotive over to the layout, and apologies if I haven't covered this loco in full depth, because there is so much to really cram in there. There's so many individual lines and bits of lining on there. It's just one of those liveries that it's impossible to cover it in one video. There's just so much to it. But yeah, I'll put the locomotive on the layout now. We'll give it a run light engine to begin with, and then I'll put a load in behind it and send it on its way. Right, let's move the engine to the layout. Right, so the stunning C-Class locomotive is down on the layout, and my goodness, it just brightens up any railway, this loco. When it is on the layout, it looks absolutely stunning. When it's running, as you'll soon see, it looks absolutely brilliant. I'm going to start off running the loco light engine, and then I've got a nice set of vintage coaches that will go in behind it. And for a locomotive on the inside line, I have got a little Terrier, which I'm going to be running. It's an A1 type Terrier, and that's by Hornby, and that will be running on the inside line with some more of those vintage passenger coaches. So, I'll send the engine on its way and we'll get on with the running session. Here we go. So there we go, folks. That is Bachmann's fantastic C-Class locomotive number 583 in the fantastic SE&CR green livery. My goodness, what a complex livery this loco has. From the boiler banding, the wheels, the side of the cab, the side of the tender, even inside the cab. The painted detail is so complex and it's been really well applied. Even the little fine details like that little sandbox under there on either side, the fact that it's got that lining on it, absolutely brilliant, looks so good. It's also a very good performer, it can go at a real smooth speed. It does have a little bit of a squeak going on somewhere in there, I don't know if you heard that on the camera, but may just need a little bit of oil on one of the bearings, but that's something I can easily do. Besides that though, runs really well. It's a loco that I highly recommend, and it looked really, really good going around the layout, along with the little Hornby Terrier, which was running around as well. Very good. I hope you've enjoyed this video on the Bachmann C-Class, folks, and there'll certainly be more 00 scale locos putting in an appearance on my channel in the not too distant future. After looking at my channel and seeing what videos have the most views, I can certainly see that the 00 scale locos are definitely the more popular ones that people tend to watch more. So from here on out, I'll probably stick with doing more 00 scale videos than anything else, but there will be other scales making appearances here and there as well. One scale that I am going to talk quickly about is Hornby's TT range. I've decided, due to a lack of models and there's just simply not a whole lot coming out, I'm not going to get into TT in a big way. What I've got is pretty much what I'm going to stay with. I've decided not to do a layout, just to keep the track on a board, to just run it from time to time. But yeah, I'm not going to get into TT in a big way, unfortunately. But when the new products come out, I am keen on looking at one of the Coronation class locos. But besides that, I'm just going to leave that one really as just a small collection. It's not going to become something big in my collection. I am going to be taking a look at the new NG7 range by Bachmann, is because narrow gauge really appeals to me, and I do like the look at the quarry Hunslets in the larger scale. So I'll be looking at those at some point, and that will be quite interesting to look at. But I'll talk more about that later. Very good. Hope it's been enjoyable, folks. Have a great rest of your day. Bye for now.